Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about the shifting mechanism. If you have any GMT 800 platform vehicle, every single one has the same exact shifting mechanism. What happens is, they go bad, usually, for my case anyway, that little spring in there broke on mine, which caused my truck not to be able to go in reverse or park, and of course not be able to get your key out. So, therefore I had to take the negative battery cable off, and it was a pain in the butt to get this thing in the garage too, because at the time I didn't know reverse wasn't going to work. So here's the ordeal. You have to take the column covers off, so we'll get to that in a minute. But from what everybody told me, everyone said do not buy one of these from the parts store. Just go to the junkyard and buy a factory one. I guess what the issue that I'm having doesn't happen very often, because a lot of people didn't know what was wrong with this truck. I got a lot of people telling me to replace the shifter cable, and a lot of people telling me to replace the brake switch. Well, that's not the issue I had. My spring was broken, so now we're going to change this. Went today to the junkyard, found the Denali, pulled this for $3. So that'll save you $97 at the parts store. So if you have a local U-Pull or junkyard, that's the best bet for that. But let's get into tearing it down and showing you how to replace it. Alright, so when it comes to repairing the old one, as you can see, I went ahead and removed this panel. All you have to do is pull that down and it'll pop right off. I got a tow module on mine, so I'm just going to leave that there. I would recommend taking this piece off before you remove the column cover, because I think it'd make it a little bit easier for you. Some of these column covers have a couple torque screws underneath that you'll have to remove. Mine didn't have it for some reason. I would like to tell you that it'd be easy to take off, but that'd be lying. You might bust your column cover. I got lucky and mine came off pretty easy. So now I'm just going to take this trim piece off. Alright, now that you got your trim panel off, tools you're going to need to complete this job: 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, T30, torque socket, and a T20, and a flathead screwdriver. Now that we got everything exposed, we're going to take our flathead screwdriver. You got a rubber clip here and a rubber clip here holding your overdrive button in. And we're going to just go ahead and pop those off. Now that those clips are out and the wire is out of the way, stick your key in the ignition, put it to the on position, move your shifter down, take your Torx T20, and there's a little bolt right here that holds your gear lever in place. Go ahead and you're going to want to remove that. Now, since the wire is freed up, we're going to take that and gently pull that out, and we're just going to hang that down to the side there. Now we're going to grab our Torx T30, and you're going to remove this bolt here, this one back here. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's one down here at the bottom. You're going to remove all three of those. Okay, so I ran into a little bit of an issue taking this Torx bolt out back here. I didn't take account that the one that I removed from the junkyard did not have the cluster in it, so that kind of posed a problem. So now we're using a 1/4" ratchet with an extension and a Torx, so sorry about that. You're probably going to have to get one of them. Now that that's free, grab your T20 and remove this one, that Torx, and that Torx as well. We're going to remove this little plate, and there's a little wire that goes into it. We're going to slide that out. Now that you remove this plate, slide this little cable here out of the shifter. That's going to free your mechanism up completely, besides the actual shift cable linkage. I don't know if you can see those two right there on the left and right. We're going to take our flathead screwdriver, we're going to pop those right off, and that'll free up your mechanism completely to where we can install the new one. Now we're completely freed up and ready to install the new one. Now that that's out, we're going to put the new one in. So basically, just repeat the exact steps that you took to remove it to put the new one back on, and everything should work out perfect. This is my first time doing this, so this may not be the best way, but at least it'll get you back up and running, maybe giving you an idea of what's wrong with your vehicle. And if there's any easier way to do this, you guys let me know in the comments, and maybe we can do a video in the future. So, appreciate you. Just a quick tip when reinstalling this little metal plate here. Make sure your line is up in here, which I think that's your lockout. But make sure that the plate lines up perfectly. Make sure you have your shifter where your shifter be. So if I can get this camera up in there. This lined up perfectly. And you'll know when it's lined up perfectly because that plate will sit flush and you'll be able to bolt it in with no issues. But just make sure this is in the correct position. And I almost made another mistake. Okay, before you put this daggone plate back on, make sure you put your shift lever rod here all the way down. Put your gear lever back on before you put the plate down. If not, you're going to be upset and you're going to have to remove that plate again.